I will be a almost 100 millionaire
really hard.
in 50 years time.
There's a 5% chance of that.
Yeah, 5%
Okay.
chance of that happening.
like those odds.
In 2075. I first had a look at them in 2019 and like every couple of months.
2019.
2019.
We're in 2025 now.
Yes, exactly.
Common thing about people who do this is that they save, and then they just don't know how to spend anymore. I guess for you, if you're talking about sneakers, I don't think you'll be regretting like,
No,
sneakers.
of course not.
Yeah, but what you want to avoid is these people, they tend to, for example, their friends want to go on holiday and they're like, no, I'm saving for my retirement. What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Money Goal. My name is Emir and I have Yasmin again with me
Hi.
today. Yasmin, what are we talking about?
So recently I had a little increase in my salary.
Okay,
So basically, thank you so much. I think it was well deserved.
for sure.
But yeah, no, I was wondering, I guess, like, what do I do with it now?
Okay. What do you feel like doing? What's your first instinct?
My first instinct,
Yeah.
I should probably save it.
Okay.
But that's the thing. I mean, we've kind of like established this in like the previous, like the first episode that like I ever did with you,
Yep.
which is that I am a fantastic saver.
Okay, that's good.
I keep the money and I mean, I save so much to the point that I don't actually do anything with it.
Okay.
So basically, apart from saving, what should I be doing?
Okay. So I think a lot of people, I mean, this is natural progression, right? As you work, especially in our 20s, we probably started off very low and then our salary starts to really ramp up, especially at our age now, late 20s, early 30s. But at least you don't have the problem which a lot of people have, which is lifestyle inflation. That tends to happen where, you earn more and you're like,
I mean, no, I do
do have it, right?
feel that
For sure.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, again, I'm the kind of person like I think twice, 3 times, 4 times before I buy.
But are you talking like big purchases or how about like meals? Coffees, like avocado and toast.
Avocado on toast, my matcha latte.
Exactly. So
I mean, I don't know. I think it's because like I just don't spend in general. I don't make big purchases. So that's why, okay, sure. If anything, maybe I'm buying a tiny bit more makeup or like I'm buying a tiny bit more skincare.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really tend to be the big purchases. So I think people don't.
Yeah, it's like I'm not buying like a new iPad. Every week.
Some people on the extreme end, they get a salary bump, immediately they buy a new car. They're like, oh, I have an extra 1,000 ringgit. I'm gonna buy a car that's
couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
That is the extreme end.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, what they don't notice are the smaller purchases, right? So initially, a 20 ringgit meal is expensive. You go once in a while. But then slowly as your salary goes up, 20 ringgit meal becomes, that's not so bad,
Not
right?
so bad.
That's not so bad. And then you do it again and again and again. Your breakfast becomes more expensive. Your dinner becomes more expensive. Everything becomes more expensive. I think that's what people tend to fall into.
Yeah.
As their salary goes up. So the big problem, first of all, I think it's okay for you to spend more as your salary goes up.
No, of course.
I think it's completely normal. I think it doesn't make sense that you want to maintain your spending level when you're earning 3,000 ringgit versus earning 10,000 ringgit. I think it doesn't make sense. You need to enjoy yourself a bit, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I really think that personal finance, even if you want to save as much money as possible, invest as much money as possible, we don't want to overdo it to the extent where our quality of life is deteriorating, right? I think this is a more balanced view. This is a more balanced personal finance view, I think. So you do want to spend more. The tricky part is just not overdoing it.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So this is why I think my favorite way of saving is using a percentage of your income.
Okay.
So let's say now you're earning 4,000 ringgit, let's say. And you've set yourself, okay, I want to save 20% of my income. So 20% of 4,000 will be 800. I'm sure you got that.
Yeah.
And when your salary goes up to 5,000 ringgit, you keep the 20%, which means now your saving goes up to 1,000 ringgit per month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the reason that I really like that approach is that as your salary goes up, your saving scales together with it.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of, thinking, how much should I save now? Should I spend more? Should I save more and stuff? Just increase it linearly. As your salary goes up, your savings goes up by a similar percentage. But you will still have the extra money, which I think by all means, people should spend it. People should go on holidays. People should buy your makeup. It's fine. As long as you're saving that extra money as your income goes up,
Yeah.
I think you'll be good.
Yeah,
honestly.
see, no, I always have this like, again, because I'm very what's the word?
I would say conservative. If it's
Yeah, I am very conservative
Yeah.
with my spending. So for me, like when my salary does increase, like it doesn't really like impact the way that I feel about my spending. Like I don't
Okay.
feel like, okay, you know, gaji
Target.
baru,
Yep.
you know, baru masuk, then I'm gonna go like, I don't know, go to Malacca for the day or
Okay.
something. I don't feel like that. I just feel exactly the same. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe it's because like I just don't. I don't really have that feeling of like, oh, I really want to reward myself.
Okay.
I just don't.
You don't have the urge.
I know I don't have that urge
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatsoever. But at the same time, yeah, lah, you know, like yeah, if I wanted to spend that money, like it really, I still think a lot
Yep.
before actually going ahead and doing it.
Yep.
And most of the time, like I don't. I'll literally share like a tiny story. I've been sitting on these sneakers that I've wanted. I first had a look at them in 2019,
Okay.
and like every couple of months,
2019.
2019.
We're in 2025 now.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So
Okay.
every couple of months, I will open up a tab on my laptop.
Yep.
I'll look at it,
And then you close it.
and then like I'll, you know, sit on it for a couple of weeks, and then I'll close it. And then a couple of months later, I'll do the same thing
Okay.
over. And so I first started looking at it in 2019. It's now
been
2025.
6 years. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just out of curiosity, so what's your thought process? What makes you not, or what makes you put off the purchase?
I'm constantly weighing up whether or not it's worth it to me.
Okay.
So like, okay, just simple, right? Like a pair of shoes. It's like, do I need those shoes or do I want those shoes? Most of the time, I don't need those shoes because I have other sneakers.
Yep.
So technically, I just want
Want it.
them.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I've got some excess, you know, in my bank account at the moment. I could buy it if I wanted to.
Yep.
Which I did. I wanted to,
Okay.
but it just didn't feel right. I don't know. I
Yep.
felt like, what's the point if I have like 5 other pairs of sneakers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're like on the other extreme of personal
Yes,
finance. So
I
yeah,
am.
the more common extreme is people spending too much, right? I think a
Yes.
lot of episodes
Yes,
about
yes,
people
yes.
overspending.
Impulsive buying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't impulse.
Yeah. So to me, I think everything should be in balance. I think everything should be in balance. But having said that, for you,
Mm.
as long as it's not causing you any, like, let's say harm, I don't know if
Mm.
that's the right word, then I don't think it's an issue. But having said that, you gotta keep in mind that a lot of people in the personal finance space, so there's this community called FIRE. Have you heard of it? Financial Independence, Retire Early.
Oh, I only know Fire Festival. Sorry.
No, not that one.
Sorry.
Not that one. So these are people who are extreme hardcore savers,
Okay.
and they consciously make the decision to save, right?
Okay.
And they save like 70-80% of their income. And the only reason they do it is because they want to retire early. They want to retire in their early 40s or late 30s, right? One common thing about people who do this is that they save, and then they just don't know how to spend anymore. Once they're older, they don't know how to spend anymore. Once they've made it, they've hit their retirement number, they just don't know how to spend. And they realize that, oh my God, I have like sacrificed everything for the last 20 years and now I'm not even happy, right? I guess for you, if you're talking about sneakers, maybe I
Yeah.
don't think you'll be regretting like,
No,
sneakers.
of course not.
Yeah, but what you want to avoid is these people, they tend to, for example, their friends want to go on holiday and they're like, no, I'm saving for my retirement. Or, it's the parents' birthday or something. And like, oh, I don't want to eat somewhere so expensive because, I'm on this journey. So I'm gonna like cheap out and we go like a mama or something. I think these are the things that people tend to really regret. So I think for people who are like you, who are extreme savers, these are the only things you need to keep in mind. You don't want to overdo it to the point where you will regret it in the future. But I would say purchases, I don't know. I don't think I've heard of anyone in their 50s saying, I should have bought those Air Jordans.
Yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
don't think I'm gonna be regretting it in like 30 years time. But like, with that being said, I'm not stingy. I'm only stingy when it comes to myself.
Okay.
So I don't like I don't like spending. Not I don't really think to spend on myself.
Okay.
But when it comes to other people,
You're fine.
I am totally fine.
Okay.
So like, for example, okay, let's just go back to this like
I have a
for second.
long shopping
You have a long
cart.
list you want me to fulfill?
Okay,
Send me the bill. So okay, for example, like I'll think about the sneakers, right? Like I'll basically like think about like, okay, if I don't buy those sneakers,
Yep.
that means I can keep that money that I would have bought those sneakers with
Mm-hmm.
for something else.
Yep.
So that's why like usually if I'm spending like on my friends or like my family, for
Mhm.
example, or like my partner, I go big.
Okay.
For me, I go big or I go home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person whatever they want,
You-
because I've saved so much,
Okay.
because I don't spend on myself, I'll usually be able to fork out enough to get
Yeah, yeah.
whatever it is that they
That's your love
want.
language. Like
Yeah, that
gifting,
that
right?
is actually one of my love languages,
Okay.
gift giving. So, yeah, and like I do think about like, you know, saving for like a rainy day,
Yep.
you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like thinking about, okay, if I don't get to spend now on everything that I want,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely will like in 10, 20
Yep.
years time.
Yep.
So
I think honestly it's fine. I think honestly it's fine. As long as it's something that you wouldn't regret in the future, like if you really think about it, if you don't think you'll regret spending on other people versus yourself, then I think it's
Yeah.
fine. Because technically you are still spending money. It's just that you're spending on other people. And if that makes you happy, then
yeah.
what's the point of like doing what other people do?
Yeah.
Like buying the Air Jordans. If that's not gonna make you as happy as buying me the Air Jordans.
Yeah,
then-
exactly. Honestly, like on God, I promise you, it probably would make me happier to buy you those Air Jordans
Yep.
instead of buying myself
Okay.
those Air Jordans. Like I'd be like, oh, okay. But it probably made me happier seeing you happy.
Right.
getting those
Okay.
Air
Yeah. I mean,
Jordans.
if that's you, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Right. As long as again you're not sacrificing your savings, your investments. If you have your emergency funds settled,
Yeah.
I think as long as you have all those things still in check, you can spend your money however you like. If you think that that is the way you want to do it, then to me it's completely fine.
Yeah.
And you can always change in the future, right? You can always change. Maybe instead of spending like your entire budget on other people, just spend like half on other people and half not on yourself, where you just
Yeah.
keep it
Keep it.
in like a separate fund first.
Yeah.
And then think of it as like in the future, if I wanted something really nice, I could just
Yeah.
use it from this money.
It's like I want to be like a soccer mom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like 10 years time. Like whatever my kid. Yeah, I don't know.
Buy from them.
Yeah, that's that's parenting aside now. But like whatever, if my daughter like in 10 years time was like, Mommy, I want a pony.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have the funds to give my daughter the pony.
I think it's complete. So you're fine with your savings, your emergency funds, everything is
Yes,
sorted.
I'm
yeah.
pretty much sorted. Yeah.
Then
so,
consider buying more stocks and stuff. That's spending money as well.
yes,
right,
which is
that is-
something that I have been doing,
Okay,
and
that's
I've
That's
I've
good.
lost a bit of money. Oh, hopefully it will go back up.
Yeah, I think investing is it's like a wheel.
I don't
Sometimes
like
you're up,
that.
sometimes you're
I need like the graph.
Constant.
I need the I need the graph to just go.
straight up all the way.
Yeah.
Predictable.
I need the graph to literally look like a perpendicular triangle. It's literally just this, like that. But anyway, sorry. Enough of my rambling. But I actually do have a story for
Okay.
you from a submission that we received.
Okay.
So can I read that out to
Sure.
you?
It's a question, right?
Yes, there'll
Okay.
be a question in the end.
Okay.
The first story is I saved, but then I spent it all anyway.
That's not saving there.
Yeah, I know,
Okay,
right?
Okay. continue.
So the
Let's-
story goes like this.
Okay. Let's go.
After my salary bumped up, I promised myself I'd be smart. I created a second savings account, transferred 500 ringgit each month, and didn't touch it. For 3 months, I was so proud, and I even thought, wow, this adulting thing isn't so bad after all.
Easy.
Then came the sale of the year.
Okay.
Ooh, I feel you. I feel you. I'd been eyeing a new phone, some travel accessories, and gym gear. I told myself, you've been good. Just reward yourself a bit. But it was never just a bit. It never is. It never is.
It never is. It never is.
First, it was the phone, then a long weekend getaway with friends, and I dipped into my savings thinking I'd top it back up next month.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, I didn't. And when I finally checked my untouchable account, I had 4 ringgit 67 cents. I laughed and cried at the same time. I realized I didn't have a saving problem. I had a discipline problem.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you protect your savings from yourself once you start earning more? Girl.
Very relatable.
Very relatable.
Actually, someone else had that problem before in the past.
Oh,
in the
yes,
previous
yes,
episode.
in the
Yeah.
previous episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you
yeah.
guys remember who that is. But
So, They're basically asking how they can solve this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the opposite of you, basically.
It's basically the opposite.
I mean, they're doing well for a while. It's just they can't
Yeah.
control themselves.
Yeah. So
after having
credit
too much.
to you for having a good start lah.
Exactly.
But then
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
So, honestly, this is gonna sound really harsh, but I always tell people this. If you have a discipline issue, you need to fix a discipline issue. That's one thing. Eventually, you have to fix it because at the end of the day, the only person that's responsible for your money is yourself. So I think longer term, you got to think about how you're going to sort this out yourself. I think it's more of a mental thing. But short term, how you can basically fix this in the short term is you want to make it more difficult for you to access that cash. So I think they said they moved it to another bank account, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's good because another bank account, assuming it's not an account that you always check, at least it's out of sight. But I think a lot of people like corner of their mind and like, I have this money there.
Oh my god, this literally sounds exactly like an episode that we did before.
Exactly. Yep. So everybody always has this in their mind, like, I have this money to spend. So you need to create friction.
Yeah.
If you don't have the discipline yet, you need to create friction, right? Either you put it into something like ASB, where you can withdraw it, but it's a bit trickier. You have to go to a bank to withdraw the money. You can put it in fixed deposits, where your money is literally locked up for 6 months, but technically you can still unlock it, pay a small penalty, you can still get the cash. I have some colleagues who he knows he has a discipline issue, right? And he's in like late 30s, 40s.
Right.
Funny guy. He knows he has a discipline issue, so he doesn't want to put it into a bank account. He doesn't even want to put it into a stock broker. He doesn't even want to invest the money because he knows that if he really wants to spend it, he can always sell it, withdraw. Even if it's at a loss, he doesn't care, he'll spend it. So what does he do? He literally puts it in ETF. That is literally the maximum. You cannot touch it, whatever it is.
Right, I see.
Yeah, so you're gonna choose depending on how severe you think your problem is. But like I said, at the end of the day, you have to fix a discipline issue.
Yes.
I don't know how, but it's something that you need to introspect.
Yes. Okay. Self-reflect and be introspective about. I mean, from like my perspective as well, like maybe it's because I don't have like a discipline issue, but like I think it became even more so that like that I didn't want to touch my spendings because like I had already invested it. So honestly, I was like right now, I just can't even be bothered to think about how to get it out.
Exactly, same as
me. So I mean, like you said, right? Like it creates like sort of like a friction.
It's a barrier.
Yeah, it's like a barrier, right? Like it's a deterrent in a way because I'm too lazy to get it out.
Exactly.
So in a way, it
helps.
Yeah, it helps because
bank accounts are way too easy.
Way too easy. I mean, you literally swipe a card and then that's it. But then with my so I have ASB and I also have Stashaway.
Yeah.
Both of which I just don't touch. I mean, I look at the app every single day, just looking at my money go up and down, up and down, up and down. But I don't feel like I want to do anything. Like I don't feel like I want to touch it like at all.
For me, it doesn't feel like my money even. It feels like future me.
Yeah, future
me. So for some people, this will be enough. This will work.
That's a good way to think about it.
Exactly.
Actually.
Yeah. For people like my colleague, if you're like him, then you have no choice. If you have to lock it up in EPF, not ideal, but if you have to, then you have to.
Actually, think about it that way. You're stealing from future you.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Future you would not be happy.
Yeah, will not be happy because in 10, 20 years time, you'd be like, I wish I didn't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wish I saved it. Okay. Alrighty. And then the other story that we received was, okay, so the title is, I invested too fast, too blind.
Okay.
That may sound like me.
Did you anonymously
that was my submission. That sounds like me. I hope it's not me.
Okay.
I will get back to you in a year's time. But okay, this is how the story goes. When my company adjusted my pay after appraisal season, I felt unstoppable. I had heard everyone say, don't let your money sit, make it grow. So I did. I watched 2 YouTube videos, read half an article, and opened an investment account.
Okay.
That literally sounds like me. Okay, my colleague told me about a hot stock. He claimed his cousin had doubled their returns.
Okay.
I didn't want to miss the boat. So I put 3,000 ringgit in without blinking. I kept refreshing the app every hour thinking I was a financial genius.
It sounded like me initially as well. Okay.
Really? Okay. A week later, the market dipped. I panicked and I sold. Then it dipped more and I cursed myself. That sure win stock, it's still down. And that 3,000 ringgit, gone. I learned the hard way. More money doesn't make you financially smarter overnight. You still need to understand what you're doing.
Yep.
Earning more is exciting, but losing it in a flash, that humbles you fast. So the question is, what are the basic things you should learn before investing your salary bump?
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
that's a good story though.
First of all, honestly, this is a much better problem to have than the
Sure.
previous person, right?
Sure.
At least
Yes.
they're investing the money, they're
Yeah,
losing money there.
exactly.
Right? Okay. So I think with regards to investing, you don't want to overcomplicate things. So you don't want to think that you need to be an expert before you start, because
Yeah.
that would mean that a lot of people then don't start. Which again is another issue. So we don't want to get there either.
Yes.
Right? I think the very, very basic things that people need to understand before they start investing is, one, don't listen to your friends. Terrible advice, especially when it comes to individual stocks,
Yes.
right? Especially when it comes to like specific companies and stuff. It's very tricky for us to know. And then number two, I think people just need to understand risk and how the markets work, right? So sometimes, even if it's a very good company, even if your investment is in a really good place, you will still lose money. I think it's normal. Sometimes market goes up, sometimes markets go down. It's normal.
Yeah.
Your earlier thing about how you want it to be perpendicular, it's not going to happen unless you're in ASB, for example, right?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't
It's
fluctuate.
just
Yeah, but I think for the vast majority of people, most of their money is in the stock market. And you will really see times where you're down 30-40%, which means that if you have a 1 million ringgit portfolio, expect to see a 300,000, 400,000.
That's actually my nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, okay, I don't even have like millions of ringgit in my portfolio.
Yeah.
I can't imagine losing that much, but you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself. So I think as long as you understand that, like, there will be periods where the markets are down and you shouldn't panic, because over time, markets tend to go up.
Yeah.
You understand that.
Yes.
And you understand that you shouldn't just blindly follow other people. There are very simple ways to invest. I think we talked about this as well
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
Very simple ways to invest. Invest into ETFs, a basket of stocks. The biggest 500 companies in the US, right? Literally one ETF, biggest 500 companies in the US. I wouldn't say you cannot lose your money there, but it's very unlikely because you're diversifying across 500 different companies, right? Again, you will still expect dips, but over the long run, you should be fine. I think those are just the very basic things that you need to understand. Don't hold off on investing after this basically point of time. Just start your investing journey and then just learn more along the way. Even in this scenario for this person, even though they lost money, they didn't understand the stock, they didn't understand the risk, I wouldn't say that's a big issue. It's better that you make this mistake now with a few thousand ringgit than a few 100,000 ringgit, a few million ringgit, right? So I think it's normal. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I totally agree on that as well. I feel like, I was doing the exact same things, right? Like I was watching YouTube videos and like considering like, should I not?
Yep.
But once you actually like start, again, the idea is literally to just chuck in your money and like,
Just let it be.
just ignore
Future
it.
you will thank you.
Yeah,
Future
just
you will
ignore it, and
Exactly.
yeah, you.
I think we
10
saw.
years time
When are
will-
you going to be a 95 millionaire?
Oh yes, that's right. So according to my predictions, apparently, I will be a almost 100 millionaire.
100 millionaire.
In 50 years time.
There's a 5% chance of that.
Yeah, 5%
Okay.
chance of that
I
happening.
like those odds.
In 2075.
I like those odds.
So you get a yacht, you get a yacht, you get a yacht.
I think that,
Alrighty. Yeah, I think
that's
that's
the
it. So
I guess I'll just recap.
hoping, some
Okay, I guess just to
takeaways.
recap,
Yeah.
first of all, if you guys are increasing your income, again, congrats. Really good job. I think it's very important in personal finance. Make sure, I guess if you guys are different than Yasmin, make sure you guys got your debt settled. If you have any loans that you're behind on, make sure those are settled. If you don't have your emergency fund, make sure that is settled. And then what you can do from there is, like I said, just save a percentage of your income, 20%, 30%, whatever you feel comfortable with. The rest of it, I would say just spend it.
Just
If you want to. If you want to self-reward, I think that's completely fine, because this whole thing is a lifelong journey. I guess for you, you don't feel the need to spend, but for people who want to spend, I think it's completely fine. As long as you got your basics covered, you
Yeah.
are saving and investing more, completely fine. Right? And then when it comes to investing, like I said, you will never be ready for it. Don't overthink it. Just start. You're earning more money, invest more money, make mistakes when your portfolio is still small, so that when it gets bigger, at least you're more prepared and you know what to expect. Cool.
That's right. Cool.
All right.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Yasmin. Nice talking to you again.
Thank
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you in the next one.